Hi everyone, and welcome to the University of Guam. I'm Doug Palmer, the Athletics Director at UOG, and this is the Triton Athletics and Fieldhouse YouTube program. The program that brings you news about varsity athletics, the recreation program, the Triton Fitness Center, and the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse itself. The biggest news that we have this week is really exciting basketball news. The University of Guam Calvo Fieldhouse will be hosting two international basketball games on August 26th and August 28th. The Bank of Guam men's national basketball team will be hosting the Chinese Taipei, Taiwan team here on those two dates. On August 26th, which is a Thursday at 7 p.m., the opening game will be played, and then on Saturday, August the 28th at 2 p.m., the second game will be played. If Guam sweeps the games or splits the games and wins the point spread, they will advance to the Asia Cup. These two games were supposed to be played in Indonesia in August, and the winner were going to advance to the Asia Cup. But since Indonesia is now a COVID hotbed, the Asia Cup has been canceled and moved to 2022. But FIBA wanted these two games played before September 1. So these games now are going to be played on Guam since Taiwan's vaccination rate is much lower than Guam. So we're really excited about having these games coming here for international basketball back on Guam. If you remember, we played New Zealand back about a year and a half ago. It's been that long. So we're excited to get the national men's basketball team playing again against a quality opponent in Chinese Taipei. And if they win, and if Guam wins, they'll advance to the Asia Cup. And how well they do in the Asia Cup could mean that we have other teams coming to Guam in the future to play as they then begin to qualify for other tournaments. In Triton Athletics news, we're going to have 3 more tryouts come August 16th on Monday. The 3 teams will be baseball, women's soccer, and women's basketball. On August 16th, baseball will hold their tryouts at 4 p.m. at the George Washington High School baseball field. Our women's soccer team at 4 p.m. will have their tryouts at the UOG soccer rugby field, and the women's basketball team will have their tryouts in the arena of the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse. You also can still try out for our other 3 varsity sports this year, which is women's rugby, men's basketball, and men's soccer, but you'll have to do it at their regular practices in an individual format, just basically going through practice with them. If you want to still try out for some of these sports, you can contact me, Doug Palmer, at 735-2862, or email me at Palmer, Palmer, D as in Doug, at triton.uog.edu. Our game schedules have changed a little bit. Our men's baseball team has moved their opening date from September 4th to September 12th, which is a Sunday, mainly because we're trying to get more baseball players, so we need a little bit more time before we're ready to play. But that's the change for the baseball schedule. For men's basketball, it stays the same. They're going to play on Wednesday, September 8th at 8:15 p.m. in the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse. That game will be shown live on this same YouTube channel. Our women's basketball team will open up on Thursday, September 9th at 8:15. Same thing, the game will be shown on this live on this YouTube channel. We're going to try to show all basketball games live on this YouTube channel. About half of them will have announcers for the games. These opening games will have announcers, so we're hoping that if you can't make it to the Calvo Fieldhouse, then you will watch these games live on our YouTube channel. But again, you can come back a day later, a week later, and watch these games on our YouTube channel. We also are going to have women's rugby, women's soccer starting play in October, and when those dates get closer, we will have more information about those games. In our recreation news, Monday, August 16th, the Triton Fitness Center will be closed as our recreation staff will clean and reorganize and get ready for the opening day, which will be Tuesday, August 17th for the Triton Fitness Center under our new hours. The new hours will be 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Thursdays, and on Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also, our class schedule is still in flux. Sometime this next week, we will put a flyer up in the UOG Recreation Facebook page, but by next week I will give you the exact schedule for all the classes. But it is exciting that we're going from one yoga class to 10 or 11 classes that will provide students, UOG community, and the Take Care community, and the regular community at large a lot more fitness opportunities here at the Triton Fitness Center. And at the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse, the next big event is Tuesday, August 17th, as the faculty convocation will be in the UOG Fieldhouse. So from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., all faculty at UOG is welcome to come to the Fieldhouse to be part of the faculty convocation. It's been very nice the past week or so that we had the student inauguration, the student orientation here in the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse, and it's really great to see students back on campus. Still got to wear a mask, but it is really nice to see the students being involved here at the Fieldhouse and on campus as we move towards classes beginning next week in face-to-face classes and things that are going forward. I have been asked by a couple of people, do I have any good stories to tell about athletics and what it can do for individuals? And my answer is yes. I've been involved in college athletics now for almost 40 years, but I do have some good stories. And I think the first story I'm going to tell you is about a young lady named Kim Van Fleet. She was a softball player for me back in 1993. I know that seems so long ago now. And she played at the University of West Florida, where I was the head softball coach at that time. Kim was from Massachusetts. She just actually came to the University of West Florida to go to school. She decided to walk on our softball team. We had a strong NAI softball program at the time. But she walked on the team, she made the team, she earned playing time. If my memory serves correctly, she was about a half-time starter in right field for us. She did some designated hitting sometimes. She also was a pinch runner at times, but she really contributed to the team. My 1993 team qualified for the NAI National Tournament, but we started running into problems right before we went to the National Tournament. I ended up with a kidney stone and could not travel to the National Tournament in Missouri, so I had to stay at home. We had two pitchers that year, and one of our pitchers quit the team right at the end, so we only had one pitcher to pitch at the NAI National Tournament. And I will tell you the Donnell Harvey story at some point in the near future, but I chose the Kim Van Fleet story to be my first story about how athletics can really bring people together and what surprises can come out of it. So as I say, Kim Van Fleet was a player for our team. We didn't have high expectations going into the national tournament since we were down one pitcher and only had one pitcher to go. And it necessarily wasn't one of my better teams. We had better teams before, but we thought we could go to the national tournament, win a couple of games, and then probably lose out of the tournament. That was our expectation starting out. But in the opening game of the tournament, we were down to, I think it was Wilmington, Delaware, or a team like that. We were down 2-1 or 3-2 going into the last inning. The leadoff batter got on base, and Kim was the second batter. My assistant coach, who was in charge of the team, gave the signals for Kim to bunt the ball twice in a row. She fouled off both pitches, apparently. And then my assistant coach just took the bunt off and told her to go ahead and hit away. And on the very next pitch, an 0-2 count, Kim Van Fleet had never hit a home run in her life. She takes an 0-2 count and knocks it out of the ballpark, and the University of West Florida Argonauts won the opening game by 1 run. That momentum led the University of West Florida to the national championship that year. We beat Oklahoma City in the finals twice to win the national title, and it was from somebody who would never expected that to happen. Kim was not one of our best players. She was a solid player who had earned playing time, but she was not one of my All-American type players. But then at that spot, on a 0-2 count, but you would figure she wouldn't have much of a chance of getting a hit, she got a home run. We won that game. It gave us the momentum to go ahead and win the national championship, and it just changed the direction of that team. That team, every year in May, you can bet on it, somebody sends something out, and all of a sudden the team gets back together every May to reminisce about that national tournament and how they won it, and nobody thought they were going to win it. Head coach wasn't there. We only had one pitcher, and we were down, I think, to 11 or 12 players at that point. But because of Kim and her home run, changed the momentum of a team, and over a short term of games, 5 or 6 more games, they won 5 and they lost 1, and they came back after losing the game to win the national championship in that final game. But it was Kim's hit, home run, that gave them that faith, gave them that momentum, gave them that excitement to go ahead and win. And Kim Van Fleet, that's the number one story that I always tell people if they ask about, what things I know about athletics and what it can do. And it changed Kim's life. It changed that team's life. Almost every one of those young ladies off that team are very successful in life with good families, good jobs. And I think a lot of it had to do because somebody came through in a tough moment and showed that you can do those things in tough moments. All right, that was the Kim Van Fleet story. Now I'm going to interview baseball coach Bill Bennett. Hi everyone, we're back. We have Bill Bennett with us, who's the UOG baseball coach. Bill has got a great baseball history. He's been on this island for 40 years?
Yeah, 40 years.
Yep. And he's been doing baseball here for that whole time as well. Bill played for UOG at one point. He's played in the Guam Major Leagues, but he's also built baseball parks throughout Asia, if I'm correct, right? You
Yes.
currently working one in the Philippines, and you've done them in Japan and Korea and other places as well?
I've taught baseball or softball in every country in Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific Rim.
So Bill is probably the best baseball person on the island to head the UOG Triton team. All right, Bill, let's talk about tryouts. So far we don't have huge numbers, but what do you think about the ones who have came out?
Well, the kids that I've worked with so far, they're enthusiastic. They want to learn. They're really looking forward to getting on a team. And, the skill level is, it's mediocre, but with every practice they've been improving. So I just hope these kids continue to, attend school here at University of Guam and continue to come out to practice.
Okay. Well, if we get enough players, which we're still planning on doing, we're going to be in the amateur league, the Guam Amateur League. And I know you run that, so tell us a little bit more about the Guam Amateur League.
Well, we've had the amateur league. This will be our 10th year. So typically, the amateur league was started as leftover ball players that didn't want to play in the Guam major leagues, or have to go through the rigors of playing at that higher level, or weren't able to get on a team. The Guam Amateur League is a little bit more relaxed, even though there's a lot of good athletes, good ball players. We've had as many as 12 teams in our league. We have 2 leagues. We have a fall league and a spring league. This year we have 8 teams in our fall league, and we're hoping to start September 4th, which is the first Saturday in September.
Okay. And if UOG gets enough ball players, how competitive do you think we could be in the amateur league given the level of talent we currently have?
Well, I think from what talent I've seen so far, it's going to be a lot of needs of an improvement. I think, baseball is a game of defense. So I think UOG team will have a long ways to go really to be competitive with those seasoned ball players that we get in our league.
Okay. So if UOG decides that spring semester we have enough ball players and go into the Guam Major League, what would be the outlook for UOG if we up the level?
Of course, it'll be much better because these players, we're hoping to get them on some amateur teams so they can get some experience. But I think we'd be more competitive every semester, and we want the kids to continue to practice. One thing about baseball is you need to have pitching. We need to at least have 2 good pitchers, and of course a catcher. So that's what we really gotta find in a UOG athlete.
Well, in certain ways, it's actually lucky. I mean, most of these leagues only play once a week, so we don't need the 24-man roster with an 8 or 9-man pitching staff. We basically need about 15 kids and have maybe 3 pitchers on the team to get through the 1 game a week situation. So hopefully that will be something that we can accomplish. All right, Bill, I know in talking to you, you have other plans for UOG baseball, not necessarily playing in the Amateur League or the Guam Major League, but doing camps, doing clinics, having your academy. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the Guam Baseball Academy has been around for a long time, and we started with the idea of not only getting kids out on the field and teaching them how to play the game, how to throw and hit, but we also felt it was necessary that Guam Baseball Academy had some social responsibility. So over the years, we've been put in a anti-tobacco, anti-alcohol program to help educate the kids and the parents on the threats of alcohol and tobacco abuse. So that's been pretty successful. And what we'd like to do as part of our 3-year program here at UOG is to get a UOG Baseball Academy going with athletes so we can introduce more parts of lifestyles like teaching on conditioning, taking care of their bodies, the alcohol, the tobacco abuse, and hopefully that part of the program where we can build that into our varsity baseball program.
Okay. Well, everyone, this is Bill Bennett. He's the baseball coach at the University of Guam. Monday, we have our second tryout date, 4 o'clock at the George Washington High School. Please come out to do these tryouts. You have to bring proof of either a COVID vaccination or a negative test from basically the last 7 days before the tryout. We really want to have baseball at the University of Guam, so if you got any interest at all, please come forward, and there is a good chance of getting some scholarship money out of this as well. So thank you, Bill, for coming, and thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week, and we'll have another special guest, and we'll talk more about all the athletic programs here and where we're heading. Thank you very much.